Hello, good evening, and welcome everyone back to the Overwatch All-Star Brawl, or should I say welcome to the first time. It's 3.007 casting with you tonight, and I have, of course, the perfect, the pleasant, the Sir Waltham.
I would not go so far as to say perfect. I am a caster, and as you know, casters are always wrong. But you do have it correct here that I am with you casting this delightful tournament, the first game of this delightful tournament. In fact, after an incredibly long final round from last month, that one was the Watchers Brawl. But today we have Triumph Academy versus Team RPI. What do you think, 3? What do you think going into this?
Very exciting. Looking at Team RPI, since we have literally nothing to go on right now, I see the player icon synergy, which, as we know, is an indicator that means absolutely nothing, but it is very excellent to see it. On the left side, we see some of the Triumph Academy members touting that Shanghai Dragons icon, which, as a Philly fan, I do have to tip my hat to that kind of flex. But, so, as we're going to get started on Lijiang Tower, I think the most exciting thing that we can say about these two teams, which we have yet to see in action, is we're going to get to see the full force of what compositions they're capable of playing.
Yeah, these first few games are going to be instrumental in not only our perceptions, but of course the viewers at home's perception. We don't know much about anything, as you mentioned, and this is really kind of the moment for these teams to set the pace. Are they going to go the standard triple-triple? Are they going to break it out with some quad DPS? Or are they going to be a little bit more proactive and go with the 2-2-2? We do not have any role locks in effect, and in fact, we don't even have any hero bans in effect for this month around. But I'm anxious to see how these teams are going to play around it without having to make those major considerations this time.
Yeah, and the meta has shifted just well enough with the, how do you say this, slight tweaks that Blizzard has been making to the game, that now you're not really necessarily going to be seeing the 3-3 or even a Sombra triple tank, triple support, all that often. As a general reminder, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else, this is still a, how do you say this, Star Esports live production. So that means we're looking for our stars, we're looking for the MVPs. You can grab that vote just below the Twitch window. And I do believe we are just about to get started on Lijiang Tower. Now, big question here, Waltham, for me is which of these particular maps are we going to start out on?
It does seem like Lijiang is going to be our starter here for tonight. Definitely always have to be excited for that Lijiang Tower. I'm excited for any map to get some Pharah that has the potential for some Pharah action anyway.
Yeah, super 100% second to that, because boy do I love seeing some good Pharah play, except when it's EQO getting his butt slammed. Anyways though, speaking of butt slams, I'd love to see some Hammond play on the Gardens and Night Market maps, probably more often for that Gardens map. But then again, also if we're talking Control Center, it's probably going to have to be Mei, isn't it?
Yeah, you would certainly have to think so. And I want to go back to what you said about Hammond here. I love seeing the Hammond run, but even more so, I love seeing the Sombra Hammond counterplay. I'm curious to see if any Sombra preparation has been put in by these teams, and if so, whether they'll choose to use it here on this map. I do agree that the Mei is probably something we're going to be seeing in that command control center. Just because it's so good at locking down those chokes and really directing the enemies where the team will want them to go.
Yeah, safe to say that both teams are probably going to be very comfortable playing both that Reinhardt-centric composition and also a much more mobile, maybe even divey. We've been seeing that a lot. And here we are. It's the Gardens to start out. Fascinating. I can't wait to get debated on these two brand spanking new teams.
Yeah, I mean, the time for debate is now. We don't, again, know much of anything about these teams, so they are coming into this with the optimal ability to fool us. Let's see if they will be able to. I'm just going to go ahead and call it. I'm going to say at least one team running the triple-triple. Go ahead and prove me wrong out there, team.
All right, so my bet's going to be one team's going to definitely go to the Pharmacy Hammond. And then fill it in with the DPS. I actually refuse to try and predict those. I think we might even, maybe a Widowmaker duel? Widowmaker-Pharah duel. Widow-Pharah duels would be like top tier right now. Let's see what the first batch says. All right, we got one team, and I think Waltham got it. That's going to be a 3-3 definitely coming out from RPI.
Yeah, and it's looking like, oh, no, it looks like it's going to be a 3-2-1. If we're going to be seeing similar, and we're going to be seeing the comps rolled out as we see them now, that Sombra pretty decent at kind of disabling some of the tanks. You're going to be running it in the spot of the D.Va. I don't necessarily disagree with that. I like seeing the Sombra, as I was mentioning earlier, especially against Cameron's hammer.
Yes, and of course it would not be a Threepwood 007 cast without Threepwood getting hell educated. So Cameron does roll out on the Hammond, so this is going to be fascinating. Running that with the Roadhog and the D.Va, a whole new kind of 3-3.
Yeah, very much. Not a lot of shielding going to be coming through here, but we're going to be seeing how it breaks down as the fight breaks out.
Cameron looking to get some of those environmental kills. Instead, it's going to be Mr. Areta diving right in there with that Reinhardt charge, and it catches it, but Ahmad gets the first kill onto Reagan, and Lucio duel ending in the favor of Triumph. So now it's a 6v5, and now it's evened right back up again. Cameron goes down very quickly, with hacks being placed on very good use by Sugar Duels. And, and very quick shatter comes out from Mr. Areta. Holy moly.
Yeah, that is some really good play there. You think that, you're trading one Hammond for a Lucio, but in the end, that Hammond gave up so much more ult charge that we saw reflected in that Reinhardt ability to bring the hammer down quite literally.
Yeah, even an EMP comes out very quickly, grabs 4, so Carbon's going to be the first to fall as a result. Salsmua also goes down. It's just looking very good for RPI right now, who after a blistering brawl leading to many ultimates thrown out and charged up, they're going to be the first ones to take this point.
Yeah, and I mean, you can't really argue that we're going to enjoy that. And it's not even one of those positions where they take it first and have to worry about holding it immediately into the next fight. No, they're going to have it for quite a little bit. They'll probably have it for about 10% before there's even a chance of Triumph getting back into the action here. But Triumph do have a few ults to work with. They're going to have that sound barrier. They're going to have that rally. Something to definitely look forward to, especially as we see Beefcake online with that Graviton first.
Yeah, the question is definitely going to be, will Triumph preempt with those defensive ults, or will they bait out the Grav? The Grav comes first, actually, as the rally goes in. So yes, but what an anti-nade!
Yeah, anti-nade not going to be stopping the sound barrier, though. Will it be stopping the big shatter?
Wow! Oh, damn. So there it is. Mr. Areta builds up to a shatter once again. And just catches 5, I think, maybe even 6, but I think the results speak for themselves. They caught enough.
Yeah, the Reinhardt Earth Shadows have been pretty good in this round of Lijiang. We've been seeing some really effective ult usage come out. However, there is still going to be some ults on the side of Triumph, but this time they're going to have to compete with a nano boost and a sound barrier. And Skadules is going to be having that EMP online as well. It's going to be able to strip down any of the Zarya shadows that might come across.
It's going to be Mr. Areta with the shatter again. That was the Sabra. But Salsmua drops a huge D.Va bomb to counter that shatter. Despite the nano coming in, the kills are looking relatively even, possibly favoring RPI right now. Yes, it looks like Triumph is... Yes, RPI is going to maintain control of the point. Damn. Building that shatter up so quickly was massive for that fight.
Yeah, they can build it up just as quickly again with Beefcake once again having this Graviton online. They're able to get a large number of members in there and wait into it to build up so much ult charge.
Wow, a charge, early charge from Mr. Areta into Cameron. Means Cameron doesn't get to throw the shatter into what could potentially be the final fight. Instead, it's Mr. Areta once again throwing it down, grabbing at least one, but the kills coming in for RPI are making it declarative that Triumph is not going to be taking this round of Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, and man, those Reinhardt Earth Shadows were really defining that round. It was just insane how much the main tank for Team RPI was building those up so quickly. And, we did see Triumph switch to the triple-triple to match, but it just did not seem like they were able to do it quite enough, or they took a little too long to switch, because the ult economy was already out of their favor by the time they did switch.
Yeah, and the other thing to be mentioned is the use of the Sombra. Shigadules was going way into the backline there on that roughly second to last fight, and it's difficult to say how the coordination worked out between the Reinhardt and the Sombra, but both ults went off roughly around the same time. Again, that preempting means that you take the initiative in that fight. So with now pretty much the same compositions running into the night market, it's going to be Triumph now, having seen RPI in action, they're going to have to figure out how to make it work for them and seize that initiative back.
Yeah, this time Triumph's going to be running with that Sombra. I don't necessarily think I disagree with that, but going to have to get out and grab it quickly from Carbon.
Brilliant charge from Misararita, grabs Kobe very early on, but actually dies, having left themselves just a little too exposed. So now Triumph actually is going to be seizing some advantage and a map control possibly here, as they grab Beefcake. Yeah, they're going full bore. Shigadules goes down. Amag is going to be grabbing the point along with Blue X. Well done to Triumph. Looks like they are going to be the ones starting out with the point here.
Yeah, and that was really key off the hack from the Sombra played by Carbon, making Mr. Rarata drop the shield, not able to prevent any of that damage, meaning the early pick could come through. That was really crucial for winning that fight.
Yep, and both Reinhardt's going to be having Shatter for this fight, unless Cameron can preempt it. No, six-man hack goes in. Mr. Rarata goes down thanks to a huge anti-nade from Blue X. Woo! Talk about a one-ult fight. Triumph is here, and looks like they are here to stay.
Yeah, and for these next few fights, it definitely seems like Triumph has been playing off the back of the aggression from the side of RPI. As soon as RPI starts getting aggressive, they see Mr. Arza start to lead a little bit. They get that Sombra in there, just absolutely stop the push, whether it's a hack, whether it's an EMP, they get it in there and make it count.
Yeah, oh, there it is. Carbon finds Huragok early in the fight. Cameron swings away, still has yet to use that Shatter. It looks like this is kind of one of those classic instances of we have one Reinhardt who's very happy to throw it out early, and one Reinhardt who seems willing to hold it until the exact right moment. And currently, that's working really well for Cameron.
Yeah, definitely seems to be the case. They're going to have quite a few ults on Carbon, almost getting hacked, or barely getting up. But right now, they're just going shield. They're not going to really be
and there's the EMP going in. It catches 3, but not before the ults come out, and the barriers is not stripped. And so there you have it. Kobe, once again, finds Shaguls very early, and a 5-man EMP goes out from Carbon. Triumph looking way more dominant than they were on the previous map. Looks like Night Market might just be their favorite little round of Lijiang Tower. Reagan has to do a full retreat. It's one more fight before this round of Lijiang is done.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing the emergency get to point as quick as you can here to come out. BK going to be popping onto the lightning ball. That's what it's all out as much as possible. Going to get booped. That is painful to see.
Ooh, Shigadul switches onto Doofus though, finds Blue X, so it's a healer down for Triumph with a main tank down, tank down for RPI, but again, the man advantage seems to just be going well for Triumph, who despite the barriers are bleeding players left and right, swinging away on the point. Misararita is looking good, but he's at half, he's at quarter, and he catches Cameron before going down himself, and this is stall time for RPI.
Yeah, and this is still, I'm seeing some great play. A lot of good hacks. Actually, hacks Shigadules as they were over the pit, making them just fall eternally to their death on Doomfist. Really opening up the fight. This is some great Sombra play, and I'm psyched to see it.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely bonkers, and I'm really looking forward to going to the third round because now we're gonna be seeing the control center. It's more Reinhardt duels, and I love it. These Reinhardts are so good, and I freaking can't stand it how awesome it is. I just want to know, are they gonna do the Mei, or do they just stick with the Sombra? Because it's a big choice.
It really is, and it's not one you're willing to kind of put both in for, because then you're basically just going to switch from, or then you're just going to a 2-2-2 style comp, and you really want a lot of tank presence. You want to be able to kind of stall out on point. But that being said, we're going to see, looks like one team going to be rolling out with the Sombra, one going to be rolling out with the Mei. See how that makes a difference in this fight.
All right, so yes, it is. Shigadules has the Mei. This could be RPI's chance to turn it around. The wall has already gone up, but Triumph has chosen a route that's not easy to get walled in. Anti-nade goes big on Cameron. They are going to be able to force him down. So Cameron goes down. Huragok also. It's a 5v5, but Mr. Darita also goes down. So no main tanks for either side. And I think this is going to be going the direction of the Triumph, who have a slight man advantage. They find Shigadules on the Mei. Yep, the Zarya follows quickly after, and now Triumph gets to enjoy this little choke potential here. but Shigadules has a good chance with that Mei to disrupt that.
Yeah, and this is such good positioning from the Sombra, staying on that high ground, able to just hack from above. If you divert your attention on the side of RPI, you're going to get shot in the face. It's not a lovely position, but now the Sombra are going to be hanging back a little bit, not able to initiate that hack as easily.
Yeah, the anti-nade gets cancelled out with some choice Zarya bubbles, and they've pushed past the choke, so now RPI is making their stand, no kills yet, and instead it's actually Triumph. Winning Kobe, winning the Brigitte duel. Validus going down on the Ana. Huge source of healing gone. Cameron swinging for the hills. Finds pretty much two very tanky characters. They're forcing RPI back to spawn. RPI needs to reevaluate what's going on here if they're going to have a chance at this point.
Yeah, and that's going to be very tough when they're staring down the barrel of 4 ultimates, especially that EMP, which we've seen be so crucial here. If they wait for either the sound barrier, they're not even going to give them the chance.
Yeah, no sound barrier for you. So that's actually great. We're not going to see any kills come out from that, but a 5-man EMP, wow, and the Shatter goes right in there. He gets stunned very quickly, but that was huge. Mr. Narita throws the Shatter right back, gets the barriers in, and a Grav even gets thrown in as well. Can they get the kills to capitalize? The answer is no. Instead, it's Triumph holding the choke, and at 65% with ult still coming online. They're looking very strong.
Yeah, for a moment there I was asking, is there an echo in here? Because both Zaryas actually use their ults at the exact same time, just locking each other into place. The melee characters, the Reinhardt's, able to both build a lot of ult charge just because, you know, they're both within swinging range of each other. Nothing to prevent that. Shigadules is going to be taking an early hack. It's not going to be getting an early pin.
What the heck? The charges off these Reinhardts are unbelievable! And the Mei ult! It gets cancelled before she can toss it out! That means it's only a nano boost left to save this point for RPI. The Hammond is out, Mr. Narita racing for the point, trying to get there, but they're not gonna make it! It goes to 100. That's it, everyone. Triumph Academy takes Lijiang Tower. We have ourselves a game.
Yeah, that was some really solid play coming out from Triumph, and they were looking very meager on Gardens. I do not expect them to have this kind of turnaround, but I really think that Sombra pick really kind of helped enable this team in a way that we didn't necessarily get to see on Gardens.
Yeah, so definitely, again, RPI took that first round very quickly. They pretty much went 0 to 100, I believe, and they showed a lot of dominance. So now I'm super liking what we're seeing here. Triumph Academy bounced back. They won the next 2 rounds right in a row. So now RPI, I think now they've done exactly what Triumph Academy did in the first round of Lijiang Tower. They saw what they're going to bring to the table. So now it's on. We're in it to win it. I'm super curious how the map selection is going to work here. So for those of you who may have joined us for the Overwatch Watchers Brawl, we have a little bit of a shakeup for the R-Stall Brawl.
Yeah, it is not going to be the hero bans, as we mentioned. Map pool is also a little bit different. 3P, you want to go into that?
All right, so here we go. Previously in the All-Star Brawl, we were doing a hero save and ban system along with a map save and ban system. Instead, this time around, we are completely foregoing the hero bans and saves. Possibly, you know, who knows what the great powers that be reasoning is, but I think we can all agree that the meta has somewhat normalized a bit. So what we're going to be seeing here is that the winner of the previous round, in this case Triumph Academy, is going to ban a map. And the map pool is preset. The teams know what they are able to pick. The only one that's specifically off limits is the tiebreaker, Busan. And then so yes, it looks like Triumph Academy has in fact banned Horizon. So now the loser of the previous round is going to select from the map that they'd like to play. Now they can't select the same map type that was previously played in a row. So control point is off the table, so to speak.
Yeah, perfectly stated. And worth noting that there is, as mentioned, I'm sure, a limited map pool. So it's not, you know, everything kind of available off the cuff. We do have only a few options available. So for the assault maps, we will only be seeing now Hanamura and Temple, provided that one of them gets elected. But it looks like the Hanamura pick is going to go through, in fact.
Yep, and I am fascinated because Hanamura always gets banned. I'm so excited. This is going to be great. Hanamura, I love it. Oh, goodness. I'm sure everyone can tell right now, but I am like hella excited for this.
I can't say I'm bummed about it either. Ready to get into Hanamura. I love seeing these tight chokes. I want to see if, you know, we're going to see a little bit more Wrecking Ball to try to break through that choke. what the situation is going to be there. I think Triumph might not be able to run the Sombra as comfortably as they were able to run it on Lijiang. They looked very good there, and I think that was really one of the key factors there. But what do I know, folks? If you think that there's a player who's really popping off during these games, definitely let us know in the Twitch votes below. Definitely let us know who you think deserves the MVP title for tonight's game. We'll announce it at the end of the cast tonight. And with that being said, I think we're just waiting on the teams to select sides for attack and defense.
So,
yeah, it's a good game.
Yeah, so it's super. Oh, so Carbon. Oh, yeah. So that's the other thing, by the way, ladies and everyone. What I wanted to just remember is the winner of the previous round does get to choose, in the face of having the map sprung on them, they get to choose their attack and defense. Triumph is selecting, or electing rather, to remain on defense. So, fortunately for the viewers and for the casters, since this is the first time we're handling these teams, we're not really familiar with the players yet. They're going to be staying on the same sides, which I'm super appreciative of. That being said, however, I can super understand why Triumph wants to stay on defense. This is kind of, well, it's a map where, in my opinion, I think you kind of want to start on defense.
Yeah, it can definitely be one of those maps where the defense can set the pace, because a lot of times it's either one of those, the opposing team, the offensive team either breaks through immediately, or, it's one of those that, gets held at first point, and then, after 2-3 minutes gets pushed on the second point, and then, it kind of feels more like a slog. But I mean, this is the map, in my opinion, where we see, those 5, 6, 7 scoring games.
Yeah, so okay. So this, you know what? Actually, I'm gonna mention something now. So that has been the thing, right? We've been seeing high scoring maps on Hanamura, Volskaya. But we have that new shift coming into play. We have that new ruling where once the first point's been taken, the respawn time on point B pretty much forbids a snowball. You at the very least are going to have a body on the point, if not an ultimate.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely worth considering. These changes were in effect last Brawl, but I don't think it's necessarily going to have the same impact as it will here, because the teams are going to be a little bit more comfortable with those rules. Teams might be more willing to die on the point. It's only going to be some really brutal staggers that I believe get supremely punished by that.
Yeah, and it's the other kind of thing where if you have an ultimate coming online, you're going to get your respawn very quickly. Previously, you might have thought, man, I'm going to switch off anyways. We don't really need a Farah barrage right now. What we really need is someone who can at least spawn ready to go, rock and roll, because Farah's going to stagger onto the point and just get obliterated. Now, though, your team's going to spawn in roughly 3-4 seconds. So maybe getting that barrage out with your diva, who's also spawning right there with you, might not necessarily be such a bad thing anymore. You might stick on that hero long enough. Speaking of Farah, Waltham, it's happening!
I am loving this. Sausmua going to be hopping onto the Farah. The double sniper as well coming out. I can't say I disagree with this. Requires a little bit more mechanical skill than perhaps your more conventional comp, something with a Bastion, something that's more tank heavy. But if you're able to pull off that mechanical skill, it can definitely pay off.
And this is going to be very mechanically required of Triumph Academy, because RPI is going for the Symmetra line skip, I like to call it, where they're just going to start up at that. They're going to queue up at this choke here. They're just going to go right to the point. Cameron's in no. Oh, there it is, the mechanical skill. Card the sniper. Oh, jeez. All right, hang on.
Yeah, it is getting brutal. Only 2 or 3 members, only 1 member of the Sim going to be making it away from that team fight. Like I said, that mechanical skill, when it's there, it can be so dominant and give you such an edge. Plus, you have this Mercy who's capable of giving out the damage boost, not only to the Farah, but to the snipers as well, making them even more lethal, making Widow have to take a little less time to charge up those shots. Hanzo's Storm Arrows being a little more intimidating. Overall, it's a great addition to this composition.
Yeah, and I super like the reaction coming out from RPI. They're not going to try and force that choke again. They switched right to a traditional dive. I believe it used to be called the Korean dive. It's the Winston Diva. It's the Widow Genji. But the Validus on the Ana goes down right away. Mercy gets out of there. It's a Widow duel at the gate. It's crazy. They're Carbon and Huragok going at it. Mercy gets the res onto Mr. Areta, but Reagan goes down. Huragok actually gets found by the Farah because they were otherwise preoccupied. Triumph once again looking very good, but RPI switch I think is the right maneuver if they're going to be busting through this very damage-heavy bunker. Yeah, just damage-heavy.
This damage-heavy composition in general, but they're also going to have to be dealing with a number of ultimates coming online pretty much everybody but the supports from the side of Triumph going to be having those ultimates, the infra sites now to scout a little bit, the dragons to put out giant lanes of damage, the rocket barrage, the battle bongo, just so much to have to prepare for. And really, we're only looking at most half charge coming through from the side of RPI. And that Genji Blade and a boost might be what they're looking for, but it's going to take a while at this rate.
Absolutely. I don't envy RPI's ultimate positioning, but it looks like they're doing exactly what they need to be doing. They're starting to farm now. Shagadools is... Oh, and Huragok opens it up with a headshot onto Carbon. That might force the Mercy res, but no, they don't because they know that they can be picked off. And instead, Salasmua leads with the barrage. Kobe also picking up some sick kills. So, wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Triumph defeats that. RPI does get someone on the point, but almost more importantly for RPI, Shagadools is getting very close to that blade.
Yeah, that's very good for this team because that Nano Blade is almost the certain win condition here. But I want to talk about how else Triumph Academy's composition is going to play here. They're very spread out. That might make it very difficult for Shagadools to really get a lot of slices. And yes, he can do a dash right after pulling out the blade. But if you have 3 snipers or 2 snipers and a flying jetliner just kind of scattered all across the place, it's going to make it very hard to land any value with it.
Yes, and so that is going to be the difficulty. Will the D.Va and the Winston be able to dive with their Genji, or is it going to necessitate a kind of split dive? Instead, it looks like it's going to be diving right up onto the high ground there. Shagadools actually gets the anti-nade very early. There's no Hannah to go with it, and so he can't use it yet. Huragok gets found by some nasty storm arrows from Kobe, also known as NK, but ooh, hang on! Dragons gets eaten by Beefcake. That's massive. This could be RPI stepping onto the point here.
Yeah, it's not looking like it's going to quite be the case. Salasmua going to be falling, but there is still going to be some res capability, and, you know, that far is not going to take forever to get back to point. If they really want to capitalize this, RPI might be trying to push forward, but it looks like the defense is going to push onto them a little bit.
I think that's almost what you have to do. Your spawn advantage is nowhere near as powerful as offenses right now, and there's 20 seconds left. Any kill you get here is massively crippling. But there it is, the sights coming out from Huragok means that they might be in a very good situation, but Blue X finds Mr. Arita before this push can even begin, and just Beefcake also getting DMAC goes down. They find a manga, and here comes the blade. This could be big.
Yeah, it absolutely could be. It looks like it's going to be just enough this time coming out from Huragok. And Shagadools is going to be trying to buy some space on board. Huragok, please stop. These people have families. This has been such a clear-cut case of Huragok just gathering everyone's bodies together, hoisting them onto their shoulders, and just dragging them through point A. They get a 3-minute boost, the respawns are big. That was an unbelievable Widowmaker performance. Yeah, however, now we will be seeing Salasmua switch onto the D.Va, so we're just going to be having the 2 snipers on DPS for the side of Triumph. Meaning that there's not going to be a lot of aerial threat coming through from Team RPI, but they will be switching Beefcake onto the Hammond, which might open up for some Sombra play.
Oh! Carbon sought some revenge there, definitely.
Yeah, Carbon definitely making up for their lost team fight last time around. And it's just one by one, the team of RPI is falling. They're not engaging quick, and they seem to be getting caught out for it.
Yeah, so that's a good situation. I think what we just saw was the respawn timers really enabling the team to get into a better positioning to counter the quote-unquote snowball push. The Hanzo, Kobe/MK got so well into position there. They were able to take out the Mercy on the res, which is great for stopping that from happening. RPI, however, pretty much have no choice but to pull back. In this case, however, though, it looks like they're starting out. Huragok switches. Their propensity for DPS is crazy, but Blue X goes down, gets res. They die for their sins. And Beefcake on the Hammond might not be enough to make this push happen.
Oh my goodness, I want to talk about what just happened here. Carbon got slept, got brought down to like 5 HP, but got kept alive by their D.Va and Mercy. That is some incredible team play and feel right there. And because of that, it is going to be the team fight kind of stabilizing here for the defense.
Yep, and so there it is. It's just equal kills coming back and forth, but in this case, that really favors the defense. And yes, RPI is in full retreat.
Yeah, and on the plus side, Triumph did not have to invest many ults in that. They invested the Valk, they invested the Nano, but really those support ults probably build up a little bit more a little bit quicker than you might expect some of the other ults to build, and it's gonna be the dive coming in from Mr. Arata.
Yeah, Blue X just tossed out one of the greatest anti-nades on the face of the planet Earth because it did exactly what they needed to do. Stopped that push from happening before it began. But holy moly, the ultimates coming online from both teams are pretty stacked.
Yeah, Hergok getting brought dangerously low. Dude has that dragon in the pocket. That is costly.
Both supports go down to the dragons. What is this, stage 1, season 1? Holy moly.
Yeah, and Kobe getting so aggressive right now, closing this Genji, going just absolutely for it. Ahmad gonna be bringing up the res with it. You can't get the aggressive positioning away from this team. Ahmad even taking down Shikadules.
Yeah, ballsy res. Also the... Oh, okay, so now the murders are coming in to be a little costly for RPI. They have the ultimate combo to take this point, but the stagger is real, and they have to get these players back onto the point if they're gonna make a stand here.
They absolutely do. It's worth noting that there is nobody from Triumph on point right now. And it's going to be the Hammond touching point just at the last moment.
Yep, and Carbon setting up those kills early on means that it's not going to be at their most optimal. Shikadules pops the blade, gets aced immediately by Blue X. Beefcake is here and here maybe to stay. It's hard to say because Carbon and Sausma are going to get the kills necessary. Hammond is down as well, down in more ways than one. The mines are on, overtime is over, but progress was technically made past the first tick, so that was not ultimately a lost cause.
Yeah, RPI is still going to have just a little bit of wiggle room, but not the greatest amount. They are going to have just under half, as we can see, about 40%. I wouldn't say that's exactly comfortable, but it is winnable. Even if you lose first point, if you have a really good second point hold, and I mean really good, it needs to be pretty spectacular, you can still get some points and walk away with a map win here.
Yep, it's definitely not as good as a map completion, of course, obviously. So if you're now the returning, defense from the team, you must be thinking, all right, all we have to do is just match that progress, beat it by 0.1%, and we're good, right? And the fact of the matter is, yeah, that's technically possible, but you also just managed to hold a team to that much progress. Perfectly feasible for someone to, barring a full hold on point A, do the exact same thing on point B. So yeah, it's not the best situation. It puts it in a kind of sudden death scenario, but at the very least, RPI is capable of winning the map.
Yeah, very much so indeed. Now looking ahead as to the attack phase for Triumph, wondering what they're going to be running. It looks like we're going to be seeing a bunker comp come out from the side of RPI. The now standard Baptiste, Mercy, Orisa, Bastion combo. The Hog always pairs well with the Orisa like a fine wine and cheese. And the Hanzo just added for a little bit of flavor. And Carbon running the Sombra may not be the worst call.
Yeah, I super like pulled pork. I'll always like pulled pork. It's just amazing. This composition also, by the way, is really excellent. Orisa throws the halt, Roadhog throws the hook. It's all good times. But as Carbon dips into the backline in stealth mode, that has also a bit of a thing going for it.
Yeah, I mean, the Sombra able to get those hacks online, disable the Bastion's massive DPS dump. But Hergok going to be taking down Blue X is not a good opening for the attacking team right now.
Oh, so close with the pulled pork. I love it. They tried to grab the most tastiest of targets. And in fact, Kobe actually finds Hergok because with the audacity, again, to go right into a deflecting. And yes, Shikadules, as Waltham predicts, gets the hack. So they move on to the point to try and stop the Sombra from capping. But man, Triumph is here. They're angry. The Baptiste invulnerability field. I almost want to call it an ultimate, but like we all know it's not. It's just way too powerful. No kills coming in yet for either team, but the hack, there it is. Sausma gets DMX. That's not going to bode well.
Yeah, it's going to be the main tank for the defenders that gets hacked, saving the Bastion, but Shikadule's still going to be brought down by Kobe, and now the Primal Rage from Cameron going to be buying just a bit of space here. The kills going largely in favor of Triumph.
Yeah, Cameron getting that Primal Rage pretty quickly really definitely helps. Also, we're going to state for the record now that we just talked about how snowballs can be slightly prevented now, but we're looking at Carbon with an EMP and it's the Nano Blade. This is going to be rough, but there's a lot of really good ults coming on for RPI. This is going to be a real spicy fight.
Yeah, Carbon just needs to build up that last 2% or even just wait it out, which they're going to hit it with the 6-man. Not getting the Nano Blade, though.
Yes, they know jeez, it happens because everyone was hacked and dead. Oh, jeez, that was rough. Holy moly, well done to Triumph, because they had the ingredients and they made it happen again with the ult preempting. Uh, it's just geez, the 6-man EMP going into that. You had the EMPs to defend. Sombra just makes it not matter.
Yeah, that was really some strong plays coming out of the Genji star here. And well, just the entire team, right? I guess I can't even say it was Kobe for setting up that Dragon Blade. It was across the board. Carbon, Blue X, really helping that out as well. Some solid team play coming through from Triumph, and now they are one map away from taking this set.
Yep, it's pretty much it. So Triumph looking very strong right now. RPI, they had a great showing, and they honestly had a really solid defense. The ultimate combination, honestly, going into point B, not really something, it's almost not even something you can really defend against. Sombra's ability to come out of her translocator and drop EMP is just really difficult to contend with. It's barely saying, like, it's difficult to say that, you know, RPI effed up, because you can't really say that. Like, Triumph just played the cards that they had and they did a really solid job of it. But maybe RPI is going to come out swinging now, because this is literally the game on the line. This is it. If they lose this next round coming up, which they are going to have the map selection of again, that's it. We're gonna, you know, Triumph is going to take the win. So Hanamura's pick didn't really work out. I think they're going to be taking that back now.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like the ban from Triumph Academy is going to be on to Junkertown, and it's not for certain seeming quite yet, but RPI looking like they want to lean towards Dorado, and you know, maybe this is the change-up we needed to see. You know, in the 3-3, RPI did not necessarily seem as confident, you know, when we saw them go up in Lijiang Tower, and their bunker comps were not necessarily the most foolproof either, as we just saw on Hanamura. So now with Dorado, we're kind of seeing something that leans a little bit more towards that dive. And I think RPI, if you're looking to just kind of see where your opponent lies, this is a perfectly reasonable strategy. It's a very risky one because of the position they're in with, you know, backs up against the wall, but I can see the logic behind it.
Yes, and of course, when the ban comes out so readily for Junkertown, it's pretty difficult to resist the urge to be, they literally just banned an escort map. Well, there's one more in the pool, so pick it. Now, that being said, Junkertown is a map that lends itself to the pirate ship composition, and Dorado lends itself to some spooky cheeses. So I'm very curious how this one's going to fly.
Yeah, I yearn for the days where we can see that fantastic May first point stall just inside one of the villas in Dorado with the ice walls, capable of dragging that cart out forever with Marissa's shield. But I don't know if the teams are going to be running it this time around. Only time will tell as we get that 35-second timer before we can actually take a peek at what we're going to be seeing for these teams.
Yeah, so talking about Dorado and that particular May cheese, it's filthy to watch. You almost hate to see it, but it's almost kind of exciting, you know? Like, if a team's just gonna go for like that blatant upfront cheese. At this level, it's difficult to find the counter for that right off the top of your head, especially if you haven't practiced it. So what we're going to be looking to see is when Triumph comes out on defense, what is it that are they going to do? And how is RPI, once they see what Triumph has, how are they going to react? So far, Triumph has been able to seize a lot of the initiative here. And RPI, again, they now have one last chance to show that it is they, instead, who are going to roll for initiative, get the higher number, and really drop those ults, make those kills and plays before it's a little too late.
Yeah, and, you know, a nice break from what we've usually been seeing along the 3-3 meta. We're going to be seeing a lot of sniping come out. We're going to be seeing Huragok and Carbon both on that Widowmaker. Kobe going to be hopping back onto the hunt. So we saw this composition work very well for Triumph early on. However, there's not going to be a mercy on the side of Triumph to get any res capabilities back, meaning that they might have to play a little bit safer, but they don't have to worry about dying in a safe location.
Yeah, so the res being crazy is actually only going to apply for RPI. There's no mercy coming out for the defense, which is honestly a little bit of a risk because, well, maybe it's not. The Triumph is showing that their defense is as solid as ever, with a Pharah in the sky in the form of Sausmua doing a fantastic job. By the way, the Twitch MVP poll is just below the stream you're watching. Wait for a lull in the fighting, then vote for your fave.
Absolutely. Speaking of, a little bit of a lull, we're just kind of seeing the snipers try to take shots at each other. Carbon standing behind this Orisa shield, as is much of the team RPI. However, they're a little mispositioned. They're kind of pushed up onto this side alleyway, not able to take too much advantage behind their tank's shielding.
Yeah, Orisa's shield in particular has a ridiculously high uptime, so taking it down is very difficult unless you're specifically going for that buster bunker bunk. But instead, as I fail to pronounce words, Huragok finds Sausmo, but Mr. Narita is going to go down as well. I'd rather have the main tank than the DPS, honestly.
Yeah, especially as you see more and more of the melts from the side of RPI start to fall. Meaning that despite that long walk back time, it doesn't look like it's going to be too critical that Sausma got knocked down early. That Pharah rather going to be able to get right back up and into the action. Mr. Rarita got to be going up below, ready for a jump from the bottom.
And thanks to a Sonic Arrow, dragons are going to come out that's going to force out Reagan, who's just going to die mundanely. Not even to the dragons. Huragok finds BlueX, finds Carbon. Okay, now it's time, everyone, to see RPI start moving this cart. Because that is a kill advantage you love to see. Huragok, once again, demonstrating ridiculous propensities for carrying this team as they just get kill after kill after kill, allowing the rest of RPI to do their job. But unfortunately, it looks like we're going to have a bit of a pause.
We are taking a little bit of a pause. And one thing I want to point out, kind of I don't want to say a comedy of errors, but it just so happened that Mr. Rarita, while they were setting up for that jump, just happened to be spotted out by Amog, who then hit them with the sleep dart. Amog and Kobe then went up to clean the kill, which is why we saw that Winston death go in at the very beginning. We are just having a brief pause as we get some stuff sorted out with our players here. That being said, we are going to be hopping back into it, but looking forward, we're going to be seeing that the defensive team going to be having a rocket barrage online. As you can see in the top left, Sausmua ready to throw those rockets down on whoever does not happen to have an umbrella to stop the rain. But there's quite a few support ults on the opposing side for RPI. Maybe they'll be able to counteract it. They do have a couple of hit scans. The sniper's also very good at taking down a stationary Pharah.
Yeah, so it's always that question, where is the Pharah barraging from? What is on cooldown? So keeping track of, by the way, the Ana Sleep Dart can be super huge for making that happen, as well as potentially to a lesser degree, the Diva Matrix, who is actually not on the field for either team, so setting that aside. It's interesting. So, it used to be the meme that, Pharah's ulting, press Q to die. So I personally super would rather see Pharah get off some sick kills, but they're also dead. So that's actually not going to be happening for a little bit.
Yeah, and we do see BlueX, not immediately ready with that Transcendence, but they're a little bit away. And that's one of those ults in this situation where, aside from maybe the dragons from Skadules, you don't really need to hold it for too many ultimates. I mean, the Widow and Hanzo are pretty instant kills on their own. Beefcake's ultimate is going to pretty much just also knock down targets immediately. So Mr. Rarita, as well as Skadule's ultimates, are pretty much the only ones you want to keep an eye out for if you're in Zenyatta. That means you can make it you can use the ult a little bit more liberally and have a little bit more downtime while you're recharging it.
Yep. And so there you go. Pretty much just it comes down to the players, it comes down to the teams, it comes down to the coordination, and I'm gonna go with a 5v6.
Oh, it looks like we are having a little bit of an issue with the lobby here. Still trying to get things sorted out. May have to restart the match. But with that being said, once again, folks, while I have some time, don't forget to vote for your MVPs. Also, while I'm talking about MVPs, I want to say this. I want to put it on record here, Threep. A special shout out to everybody in the match whose name is not difficult to pronounce, all right? I'm talking people like Carbon, BlueX. Those names are just, you don't need to wonder how to pronounce them. And for a caster, that's very nice. Beefcake as well, Reagan. You guys also get the shout out. Everybody else, I don't know what's going on with your names, all right? give me a little bit of a help here.
So we all, we as the casters like to say, because of the the whole actiony thing of sometimes to make sure that the players can see what's going, the viewers, I should say, can see what's going on. We like to keep things straight up and legit. So when I say we're looking at Kobe, sometimes I really just mean NK. Like we get that the players want to have their tags thrown out. But if I say Kobe in the heat of the moment, it's because that's what's on the screen, and I just love seeing them play, and it's just so awesome. So that being said, we are going to have a bit of a reset here thanks to some tournament issues. As noted, all players should have public profiles going, and we are going to reset the map here. It's going to be 30 seconds now, so with a reset, it is still going to be Triumph on the defense. It's going to be RPI coming out on offense. And now the both players, both teams rather, looks like they're going to be coming out exactly with what they pretty much had to begin with.
Yeah, the only difference I can tell is going to be Mr. Rarita on the Hammond here, as opposed to the Winston we saw a little bit earlier. Other than that, pretty much looking quite similar. The double snipers once again coming through from Triumph. We'll see if it's as effective holding this time around.
Yep. So here we go. The attack is on. RPI comes ripping out this time with a Hammond firmly in the composition. Looks like they're going to be trying to boop off as many as they can. Carbon finds Huragok very quickly, though, so despite the loss of the high ground, it's still going to be a advantaged fight for Triumph. Carbon also finds Validus. That's no healers, no loss of a DPS. Shigadouls also goes down, so despite, again, the loss of that high ground, thanks to a very well-placed Hammond boop.
Yeah, I mean, as long as the Widow maintains high ground, that is win condition. If Carbon, is unable to be contested, that is a lot of free shots that will just be going into the domes of the side of RPI, especially considering there's not a lot of shields going forward.
Yep. So there it is. The snipers are going to be doing the thing. The Hammond goes down. Doesn't really amount to much. Cameron set up with that everlasting Orisa shield. And so here we go. The picks are looking to be coming in, but Sausma has almost undenied air superiority. But Huragok is definitely doing what they can to pick them out of the skies. Kobe making that just a little difficult, and Huragok, yes, goes down. Anti-Nade goes in on Mr. Narita. They're not going to go down, but Reagan has fallen, meaning Validus is the only one left to pick up those heals, and RPI is back on retreat.
Yeah, Cameron definitely keeping an eye out for that Wrecking Ball. Mr. Rarita definitely going to have a tougher time pulling off that boop strat twice. And I like that. You got to keep heads up if you side of Triumph. Not a lot of ults coming through as we saw Kobe fire out those dragons. Carbon going to be taking down Huragok, which is going to help with the infra sites as they are going to be online right now.
Yep, Sonic Arrow goes out, again, keeping tabs on the RPI composition. Ult's now starting to build up for both sides. Miso Narita goes down, however, they're not going to be building up those land mines any further. But the Valkyrie and the Nano Boost are coming very close. Shigadul is also coming very quickly. But Kobe is going to find Huragok with one of the greatest flexes, in my opinion, that the character could do, Death by Sonic Arrow. Cameron is just about to get up to those bongo drums, which means, ooh, but Beefcake finds Kobe. All right, here we go.
Yeah, this may be a good opening for the side of Team RPI. It just needs to be capitalized upon a little bit, but the Nano going to be helping to keep players up.
But a huge anti-nade goes down onto, are they gonna live? No, Sausma finds so many. Yes, as we noted, Shigaduls does find Sausma very quickly. Carbon finds Mr. Narita, but at last, for RPI, the cart is going to move a tad, though the advantage is very overwhelming for Triumph. And yes, Carbon finds Reagan's head.
Yeah, it's no surprise there. In fact, we're going to be seeing Beefcake get quickly ejected from mech as they get pulled back because of Cameron's mini-grab Orisa's halt ability. You like to see the halt ability be used in more ways than just inconveniencing the opponent. Really drawing them into a continued line of fire is an excellent way to play Orisa. It's the way you pretty much have to play her, especially when you talk about these full port combinations and other type combos.
Ooh, speaking of combos, you don't often see a solo dragons get so many kills. In Huragok, again, is going to flesh that list out a bit. Wikipedia says he can help by expanding it, and the kills are here. That's what you like to see if you're RPI.
Yeah, absolutely do. And the kill's going to continue to roll through here. It looks like RPI setting up very far forward, meaning that it's going to be even harder for Triumph to continue to contest. I mean, it's looking like it's going to be hard for a foot to be stepped onto the cart.
And the Diva Bomb goes up, the Diva Bomb goes down, the Diva Bomb does not go down enough to get any kills, so that results in nothing but a remake, which can be very important. Mr. finds Amag. Ooh, the Cameron goes down, Sausmo brings the Torbjorn out, but unfortunately it's not enough. Carbon finds Huragok in a little bit of a flex. Mr. punishes them for their sin, and RPI hits point A, gets the time refill, and they are moving on.
Yeah, Huragok not going to have too long of a walk back from spawn. We'll be sticking on to this Widow. I think double snipers has been proving effective for both teams. Both players, or I guess all four players, having kind of their moment in the sun with each one of these Carbon showing their moment not quite to be over as they take down both snipers early on.
Yeah, Carbon has been demonstrating, like Huragok, a very adept proficiency with the Widowmaker hero. Headshot after headshot, kill after kill. It looks like the Diva is going to be the next of that particular, how do you say, list. There's, again, the level of practice you get to see out of these heroes is crazy. Triumph demonstrating also a huge quantity of ults coming online, but RPI is not going to be without clapback potential, as Shigadules is also going to have his very, as we've seen, very deadly dragons coming back online.
Yeah, that might be the fight changer here. There are ults online. Validus going to be having that nano as well. Could be very brutal if applied to Mr. Arza, but an early kill from Kobe.
Yeah, that's the classic dueling sights, but that means one of the other snipers is going to have a good time. Another solo dragons goes out, this time from Kobe. It doesn't catch anyone, but again, damage has kind of already been done, and yes, Misudarita does actually go down. Diva looking very low, gets away. Well done to Beefcake, but again, damage done, and Triumph actually going for the full court press here.
Yeah, Triumph getting very aggressive. Reagan not going to quite be able to make it out from, or make it out into spawn. So it's going to be a little bit of a stall. Huragok going to be actually switching onto the Bastion just to buy a little bit of space from the spawn doors.
And you can't really blame it, but that's a dirty situation to get in as Misudarita again goes down. The Dragons comes out. That's not going to catch anyone. They scramble. And so here you go with 45 seconds left. It's now a race to touch the cart.
Yeah, and they need to be quick about it because Kobe does still have these dragons, meaning that they can section off the entrance of the spawn, which they're going to do right now.
Oof, and so another Dragons comes out from Kobe. Crazy. The Validus Nano goes in again onto Mr. Rarita, but Validus gets found by Carbon, and Carbon gets found by Huragok. The Widow duel is over, but it looks like, again, Triumph is still going to maintain their man advantage, but Blue X goes down, so really it's just trades back and forth as another Diva Bomb goes in, gets nothing, but it might buy some space.
It does not look like that's going to quite be the case. Actually, no, I take it back. It looks like to go in possession of RPI. They're going to finally start getting some kills in their favor, which means that we're going to start heading into overtime. This is going to be a very touchy spot for both sides, but Triumph going to have to try to knock people off the cart.
And I like Validus picking out Sausmo. Reagan's also going to take it out, so yeah, no contest. Now your Diva's staggered a little bit. Carbon is going to throw out the sights just in time to find Huragok before they can get some cover. So they're down 1 DPS, but at this point it almost barely really matters. RPI has to stay with the cart no matter what. So if Cameron's going to set up right on top of it as Kobe finds Shigadules, that's just pretty much going to be the way that the fight's going to be dictated. Rez does go in, Kobe does go down, so it's actually not looking too terrible for RPI, as Misudarita pops the Primal Rage and starts going ham.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing Huragok kind of start to trade back and forth. These snipers have really kind of been determining this fight. Determining these fights, whoever wins the fight whoever wins the sniper battle seems to win the fight. And it is still looking so scrappy from the defense here on Triumph.
It's the very, very excellent offense from RPI. As the big Diva Bomb goes out, this could be crazy as the Dragons. Yes, the Diva Bomb gets 2. Beefcake comes in clutch. Even a res as they got slaughtered out of mech. Amag actually goes down because Huragok rushed back to point with a Hammond, but Carbon, man, they refuse to let this happen without some head clicks.
Yeah, and Cameron going to be switching on to this Tracer, just trying to peel, anybody they can off cart, which, they've a little bit of success with. And the Tracer's actually going to get the nanos.
Oh, wow. So here it is again, the D-Mech onto Beefcake. The kill comes out right away. Goodness, they've practiced that. Kobe gets Validus. All right, hang on a sec. There it is. The point is cleared because overtime just countdown way too strong. But what a push by RPI in the last minutes.
Yeah, RPI made an incredible amount of distance. They at least made half of Street's phase from where the cart started to where it stopped. And that is nothing to sneeze at considering it was all in overtime. Essentially, it came down to 1 or 2 battles. But given how the Street's phase was looking before this, that's pretty generous.
Yeah, that's pretty much amazing. They pushed it just shy of point B, which means, again, in terms of Dorado, that's a pretty solid push. But I have literally been caught on camera, on recording, saying that before with regards to Hanamura. So, interesting. I'm curious as to how Triumph is going to do this. Do you think they go with the pirate ship?
I think that they might try it. We already saw that they were comfortable running Bunker, if memory serves, on Hanamura. Oh no, excuse me. I'm sorry. Triumph. No, I don't think Triumph will run the pirate ship. I think Triumph going to feel very comfortable in these snipers. I think that if they don't run snipers, then maybe the Sombra. But I think that those two compositions, the Sombra or snipers comps, have been working exceedingly well for Triumph.
Yep. And Triumph, again, it looks like they're going to be coming out with something pretty similar to a bunker. They're still going with that double sniper, which based on the performance of Kobe/NK and Carbon, also with Cameron on the Orisa, like, again, you don't really see a lot of tank shoutouts here. MVP poll below the stream, by the way. Love it. Because the snipers are just so loud and exciting to watch. But Cameron's uptime on his shields. Carbon finding Huragok before the game even starts. Come on, that's crazy.
Yeah, we're already seeing the pulled pork combo come into effect. You like to see it. That is such a game changer when it's pulled off properly.
Yeah, that's bonkers. So Cameron, again, has the shield set up on the cart. Shield also, by the way, takes a very long time to go away. Just time out on its own. Kobe, again, finds Shigudols, who is actually rocking the McCree with the Sonic Arrow. Again, the nasty Carbon also finding Huragok. It looks like the Widow duel has been pretty much decided now. Carbon has Huragok's number, and Huragok is going to probably have to get that out of their head before they have anything to show for it.
Yeah, and it's weird that Shkadules is on this McCree against position. McCree, very good if he can land his shots, but perhaps not as good as, say, Widow, who can also land their shots equally well. The Widow just capable of doing so much more burst damage right out of the gate. And, I mean, Carbon, definitely no slouch on this Widow.
Yeah, and so there it is. Carbon finds Huragok yet again. Salsima is going to grab Shigudules. Ooh, a bit of a kill trade back and forth as Misterareta finds literally both healers. But again, there's just combined weight of the DPS coming out from Triumph proves to be too much. And with 5:13 left, Triumph goes into, rather, their final stretch.
Yeah, and this is really going to be it. Triumph might be able to ride the cart all the way through here, but no use in speaking too quickly. The Dragon's going to be coming out, see if it gets any opening picks.
The Dragon is, as of late Dragon kills come out every once in a while, but it looks like for right now, Kobe is not really going to lead up to anything. Instead, however, we're going to be seeing the Widow duel resume once again. It's very dangerous. We got sights, we got Sonic arrows. It's all very exciting, and the tanks are going to work with some well-placed bubbles going in. And another Sonic Arrow is going to reveal some D.Va and some Winston, but it looks like no kills are going to come out as a result of that. But again, the cart is moving.
Yeah, the cart is still making progress. Not a lot of contest has been coming through from the side of RPI, and in fact, Huragok going to be dropped, folded like a lawn chair by Carbon, as will Shkadul.
Yep. Oh, geez. Shigudules also goes down with one sniper, two snipers, red sniper, blue sniper. But blue sniper is taking the match here. The cart moves. Amag is pushing it as well they can. There's no RPI presence on the cart. This is kind of crazy. Actually, Carbon finds Huragok again before Amag can go. So now RPI takes it back. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, Carbon is a fiend. Somebody stop them. This is terrifying. They are scaring all of the children. But right now, the Primal Rage might be what this fight needs.
Yeah, Huragok actually comes back onto the Hammond, can't headshot a balled up hamster. Kobe fires the Dragons to forestall any other action, but that might not be all that is what they needed. Raiden goes down, but here, Misterareta finds Blue X. Huragok does go down as Cameron switches onto the Tracer just to get back into the point faster. Amag even switching to the Soldier just to get here, bring more damage to the fight. It's working. Beefcake's Doomfist goes down. Shiguduel is actually on a Reaper to try and make this happen. They're not going to last because Carbon, of course, gets the finishing blow. It's pure stall coming out from RPI.
Yeah, RPI just trying to last as long as possible. Might not do it as that Hammond cart is going to roll right onto the point. Triumph Academy is going to take this in a clean 3-0.
Yeah, so well played to definitely both teams. But after that first round of Lijiang Tower, we just saw Triumph go running away with this, and we're looking at Carbon in terms of Widowmaker play. We talked about Huragok, putting the team on their back and just going to town. It's difficult to say that didn't happen with Triumph because the play was just so generally coordinated. But picking a Valking Mercy out of the sky, that's just special.
Yeah, that is something worth noting if you ask me. Now, as we kind of wind down here for the match here this evening. We're going to be waiting, seeing if anybody from Triumph going to be wanting to hop into chat, have a little bit of a talk with me and Threep here. And it looks like Cameron might be kindly volunteering for the position.
They're very brave of them. If they're gonna come into the ring with Sir Waltham and Threepwood, it's actually gonna be a really fun time. We sometimes have cookies. We can't share them, but like sometimes I have cookies actually.
Indeed, it is a special caster perk. We get teleported cookies every time we do an interview. So just a little fun fact. We won't tell anybody if you don't, but we will be waiting for them to kind of hop into chat here as we get set up. Now, Threep, do you have any plays that really kind of highlighted the evening for you tonight?
So I actually want to go back to Lijiang Tower. There was this great moment where, goodness, as everyone leaves the lobby, it's so difficult to find it, but RPI's Sombra ducked behind the back line and threw it out. It was crazy awesome. And it was, I think, the last time most coordinated plays. So I want to say, like, how do you come? I think this marks the beginning of the interview.
Yes, indeed, it will. And now that Cameron, hello, congratulations. How are you feeling, my friend?
Hello, feeling good. Good win. Clean 3-0. Feels good.
Yeah, I will bet it does. It was rather quick. I gotta admit, I was a little hesitant when I saw you guys play on Lijiang Tower, that very first sub map. What kind of happened there where you guys didn't quite have the map go your way?
We like to call that comp the ball and chain comp because it's the Hammond and the Hall comp. So we call it the ball and chain. It's got 100% win rate in scrims, but we didn't execute too well. So I don't really know what went wrong, but it just kind of miscoordination, I think.
Well, that is like, I mean, there's no fault in that. Sometimes you just don't get it, just doesn't click right away. But I mean, I think you guys definitely covered through Lijiang Tower as we proceeded. Now, I'm gonna move on to the player here, Cameron. What do you prefer to play most? I'm not talking about in tournaments or with your team, just like when you're goofing around in quick play. What's your preferred hero, my friend?
Oh, I've got two, to be honest. I like the Tracer and the Widow. I don't know if you saw at the end, but I was locking the Tracer a little bit.
Oh yeah,
Didn't go too well for me, but try my best.
Well, your Ana felt confident enough to give you the nano boost, if I remember correctly, so it certainly didn't go all terribly. But all right, I'm gonna ask you this one, and it's gonna be a little biased, but I haven't asked it in a while. If you could pick one person from your team for the MVP vote, you can pick yourself if you want. Who would you pick?
Myself.
Okay, fair enough. I said you could do it. That's fine.
It's true. We were talking about how, despite the quote-unquote noise of the snipers and the DPS, that we're saying, the tank players and the support players don't really get a lot of shout-outs from the desk as often as they probably should. So we did mention that, the Orisa that you were throwing out there was really super good. What can you talk about the decisions where you guys go with Orisa as opposed to another shield tank, or maybe even a punchy tank, as is popular with a DPS heavy comp?
Yeah, I think it's more like compared to the other main tanks like Hammond and Monkey and Ryan. It's like Orisa is just more versatile in like a lot more situations. Like if you're playing against a heavy DPS comp or like you're playing all the DPSs, it's easier for like your Orisa just to like stay by yourself and like live. If you play Monkey, Ryan, or Ball, it's kind of rough to like do everything on your own and stay alive, I think.
All right, yeah, the as noted, the survivability of the Orisa was pretty much set in stone. The shield uptime there was just so crazy. Constantly that big blue barrier. So really loving the play that was coming out from you guys. The one thing that I did want to mention though is that it looked like the Reinhardt duels were super crazy awesome for a while there, but kind of devolved into that new meta, the DPS festival. So in talking about the Reinhardt stuff, what goes through your mind when you're going into that kind of thing?
To be honest, I don't think a lot actually goes through. It's more like an unconscious thing, right? So like I played Ryan every day for like 8 months, right? Scrims and everything. I think it's more of like unconsciously just like knowing when he's gonna drop his shield, right? Because like I think there was a time on Lijiang, I think it was the control center, where I just jumped around the corner and shattered like randomly because I just had I had a feeling that his shield was gonna drop, I feel like just like trusting your feeling on Ryan.
Very impressive. Quite impressive. Now, you know, you talk about these feelings and all that kind of stuff. That's totally fair. I'm not disagreeing with that. But if you could give one tip to like the you know, the bronze, the silvers, the golds, the plats, the diamonds out there who are looking to kind of really get into the weeds when it comes to playing main tank, is there one tip you'd give that kind of applies to all of the main tanks?
I guess all the mid tanks. I can give two. It's like, think about your positioning more. I see like when I like actually watch people in lower ranks, a lot of them are kind of, I feel like they're scared to do things like on Monkey or Rhino or something. You can take a lot more space than you actually think you can. Like Monkey, if I play in lower ranks sometimes, I just like I perma W and perma jump in their backline, and you don't get punished a lot. It's like just being more aggro where you can, and like thinking about your positioning 24/7 is probably good.
Fantastic. Well, I appreciate that advice. And most importantly, Cameron, I appreciate you coming in here and answering a few questions with us. Threep, do you have any more questions to ask Cameron?
I have no other questions other than, now that you've taken your first round of the All-Star Brawl, what is your personal outlook for the rest of the tournament?
We're not going to drop a single map, and if we do quit,
that is some confidence coming through from Cameron. Cameron, gotta say, I look forward to seeing it if your gameplay is as strong as your confidence there, my friend. But with that being said, once again, thank you for hanging out, coming in, answering a few questions with us. We know you're probably a little bit tired, or you want to go ahead and hang back with your team. So go ahead and leave it here. But thank you very much, my friend, for stopping in.
Yes, thank you very much.
thanks. Bye.
Now, Threep, before we go, there is one thing we have to do, and you know, it's a new month. I want to start off right. Why don't you go ahead and do the honors?
Thank you so much, Waltham, because the reminder is super crazy awesome. It's good. It's just great to be here, guys. And so we have our MVP. The Twitch MVP poll award is going to be Mr. Dareta, because I can only assume of their sick, crazy, awesome tank play and maybe getting off one of the fastest shatters I've ever seen. So congratulations to them. They may not have taken the map, but they've definitely taken the viewers' hearts.
Yeah, and in the end, that's what matters most. I mean, you know, depending to some people. I don't know. I don't want to speak for everybody's priorities, but I think they got voted an MVP because Twitch chat wanted to hear me try to pronounce the name again and fail horribly at that. This is another reason I wanted to go ahead and hand it to you, Threepwood. But with that being said, I think we're about ready to wrap it up here.
Yeah, that pretty much sets it in stone. Triumph Academy takes it away from RPI for the first round of the All-Star Brawl. Come back at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time for the next round between Magna Terra and Metamorphic. But for now, this has been Threepwood007. Catch me on Twitch or Twitter at the same.
And likewise, I've been Sir Waltham. You can catch me on Twitch and Twitter, Sir Waltham, WALTHAM. Look forward to seeing you guys next time. We hope you stick around to see our next game. But if not, take care and be safe out there, everybody.